presidents to represent me. I'm out with presidents to represent me.
Who wanna bet us that we don't touch letters, stack cheddars forever, live treacherous on the etc.s. To the left of us, me and my confidants, you shine, you feel the ambiance, just to get us rhyme. By the ounce though accumulates like snow. We don't just shine, we illuminate the whole show. You feel me? Factions from the other side would love to kill me. Spill 3/4 of my blood into the street, let alone the heat. Over my hater looking up in his life. In no possible ways, no defense is bugging my life.
Jaylon Pridgeett birthday celebration. So we're gonna give it up. Give a hand clap for that. We got a live on it. Let me correct that. Marcus Cash. My bad, brother. All right. So I'm here with Lisa from My House Restaurant, who is a big supporter and sponsor of Stokes promotion, and Jaylon's been around his career at the beginning, like after the fights or before the fight. She's the one that allowed them to come in and be so gracious to show hospitality. So we want to give it up for her. She's here tonight. And we got my man Anthony Robinson, which is a good friend of the dad, the promoter from Stokes promotion, Garrett Pridgeett. His name is Anthony Robinson. He's a big fan, and we're going to talk to him tonight too. Give it up for him.
All right,
I'm Zay, folks. I'm a filmmaker and a TV producer. The name of my company is Doyer Universal Studios. All right, so we're going to start off with you, Miss Lisa.
Okay.
All right, so being a sponsor for My House, which is, by the way, it's in Columbia, South Carolina. It's a great sports bar, restaurant, great atmosphere, great food. So being a sponsor, how does that come off as far as how you put that together, or how you came up with the idea of just being a sponsor for Stokes promotion?
So it wasn't my idea. Someone came in eating, Andrew and Garrett, and they kind of had this vision. So I met with them, and I'll be honest, at first I was like, boxing? I don't know. We'll just have to see how this goes.
Right.
And so it started, I think it was around February of this year. So it's been almost a year. And it was very, very successful. I didn't get to go to the fight in March, but I did go in June. And you can't pay me to miss one since then.
Wow.
So I've become a boxing fan
Awesome.
since then. More a Jaylon fan.
Okay, so being a sponsor, what does that entail? What is like your role in being a sponsor?
For me, the biggest piece to sponsorship is supporting. It could be sharing a Facebook post, buying t-shirts, preparing meals, whatever it is that is needed to help Jaylon on his journey. That's what's important to My House.
Awesome. Sponsorships are very important. That's how a lot of like boxers or even sports teams, survive sometimes. So that's awesome that you do that. Mr. Robinson, being a good friend of the family and a fan, how have you seen the fan base grow since you've been following his career?
Zeb, that's a good question, man. Coming in and seeing the fan base in Columbia and other parts of South Carolina get behind Jaylon has been awesome, man. Going to the fights, I'm seeing how his fights, he was leading up to the 8th and championship fight, how each fight the crowd has grown. And this championship fight, man, I was amazed when I pulled in there and saw the amount of people who were there and still coming in. So as a boxing fan myself, I'm excited about it. And then also as a fan of Jaylon's and the Pridgeett family, man, that means a whole lot to me. To see what Jaylon's father Garrett's doing in terms of promoting his son, but not just promoting his son, but boxing period, and as a promoter. I heard him say, hey man, I want to bring what's in Vegas to Columbia. And so man, with that vision, that can definitely happen if you keep that vision. But if you don't have that vision, it's a guarantee it will not happen. So to bring that here in Columbia, man, maybe be in the Colonial Center, watching Jaylon knock somebody out, man, is incredible. And I'm behind him because Garrett's vision, you know, can be internal. And I say that because 30 years from now, he could still be promoting prize fights in Columbia, South Carolina. You know, long after Jaylon's retired, undefeated, maybe 40, 50 victories, most by knockout. His father can still be moving that company. When the lights are out for Jaylon as a prize fighter or a championship fighter, he can come back and help move this company on and continue to the promoting part of it. So to be a part of it and see it as a fan, man, I'm super excited.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. I remember watching him the first time he came to the gym, like I told you earlier, and he just said, I want to box. And he didn't have one of those, I'm going to be the champion and all that talk. He just had this look. And when he said it, I was like, wow, okay, we're going to see. That's what Dominic said, we're going to see. And he didn't stop coming to the gym then. So to see him where he is now and see people like y'all so gracious to get behind him and push him. And plus, he's from South Carolina. That's our guy. You know what I'm saying? I love that aspect. Now, he's always ask you this. Is this your first sponsorship, like sponsoring an athlete or organization or anything?
Yes, it actually is. I have to say the main reason for it is I just really believe in what they're doing. I like to see the footwork. I like to see, to me, Jaylon is a really humble kid. And to see him, or shall I say man, but to see him just with this vision in his eye that is just like he's hungry for it, but he's not cocky for it.
Right.
I want to completely support that in any way that we can.
Right.
So if they call me and say, I need you to go to the chef store, I'll go to the chef store. Whatever it is, I want to make sure that when he's in that ring, those other things, he shouldn't have to worry about. Right. Everybody around him should make sure those things are moving.
I want to get back to something you said, Anthony, about, you know, watching him grow and how the crowds are getting big. I've been to the fights before, and they are getting big. They are getting big. But the thing I noticed about Stokes promotion and the Pritchett family, it reminds me back in the day of when record labels were starting up. I'm dating myself a little bit, but when the record labels were starting up, they had this thing they called street teams. And what they would do, these was like the homies that would hang around. They would get on the streets and they would pass out them CDs. So when I watched Garrett on Facebook taking pictures with all the fans, that's another thing, how he takes pictures with all the fans. Jaylon is out there, they touching the people. So when you see stuff like that, you gotta support it because it's all positive. He's a young man, he's 22, he's a champion. So it's amazing to see it blossom into what it is now. So what do y'all think about just the aspect of boxing itself in Columbia and how that's growing?
Well, if you ask me, I would say it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow because of Stokes promotion. It's gonna grow because of the work of the Pritchett family. And please forgive me, where's Melissa? I didn't shout Melissa out because everything that's happening with Garrett.
Let's give her a hand.
Everything that's happening with Garrett, Jaylon, Melissa is the Rock Foundation. as well as Stokes Promotion. Please forgive me for not talking about them as well. But everybody tied to this, even down to my house, and the support that they're having for boxing. That's the kind of stuff that takes us to the next level. And I would like to see Columbia or South Carolina compete with Vegas, New York, Atlanta, anywhere else where boxing's huge. I like to see it happen right here in Columbia, South Carolina, and show that folk here could do the right thing. We could work together. You know, in Columbia, everybody knows about my house. We knows about the good food, and knows about everything else that's going on there, the sports aspect of it. But now we know about my house and Jaylon Pritchett. So we know about Jaylon in my house. So we know about the connection there. So I think it can grow. And along the way, Stokes Promotion grows, boxing grows, but also the independent business, my house, that grows as well. So I think it's a grand idea, a grand thought, and I want to see this thing continue to grow.
One thing I do want to say about Lisa is I only met you once,
Yes,
and that was when you welcomed us in to do the first interviews. And her spirit was so cool, man. It's like it was good to be around somebody that she didn't even know me, and she welcomed my team in to do the interview. And by you supporting Jaylon and pushing him, that inspires him, and that inspires other people that's watching from afar. Because it's always somebody watching.
Right.
So my house restaurant, I give you a big shout out. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Mr. Robinson, for your support in this movement, because he's a champ and he's 8-0, he's 22, and the boy got heavy hands too. Because I watched him, I was like, man, if he touch you, you've been touched. So yeah, and thank the fans that are here to support. Y'all could have been doing anything else, but y'all here. So before we get out of here, Lisa, you have anything to say?
I do have to say. One thing I want to say is a lot of times we don't get behind our local talent. And I want to make sure that people understand it's not just supporting from a financial perspective.
Right.
It could be, again, sharing a Facebook post. You may not be a boxing fan, but there's others on your timeline that may be. So support is not just always in the form of a financial way.
Yeah.
There's other ways that you can support. Buy a ticket, gift a ticket, do something. But support our local talent. He's trying to do something positive, and anything that we can do to support it, that's what we need to do.
That's right.
That's a great point, Lisa. I'm behind Jaylon as well. Again, I've said it countless times, but supporting him, promoting him, not through Stokes, but in the community in South Carolina, in Columbia. I brag about him, man, like you would not believe. I'm telling you, I'm telling the fans and everybody else, I'm telling the non-fans why you should get behind this young man, because he's like, when we look at Mayweather, man, I see him doing that, but I see him doing it with a such cleaner act and such gracious disposition about him, man. You said he has heavy hands. When he's walking around, to the common Joe, they might think he might work at Publix, stocking shelves, because his demeanor is so mild. But what's going to happen with him, man, we hadn't touched the tip of this iceberg yet. So I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I'm proud for Stokes Promotions, the Pritchett family, and even Jaylon's little brothers set the fine example for them. So I do thank you, Zeb, for the opportunity, as well as Stokes and promotion, as well as Gary. Thanks a lot.
This is Zeb, folks, Going to Sports. This is another segment of Inside the Ropes. We here at Good Vibes in Winsburg, celebrating the champ's birthday, and We getting ready to turn up, y'all. Y'all know what it is, all right? All right, fam, give it up.